How's it everyone, Grant here, welcome back to the channel. And in this video I'm going to be showcasing some cases from Poetic. And so first off, thanks to Poetic for sending me these cases for review. But I've been buying Poetic cases, specifically this Affinity series case, for every phone that I own that they make it for. And I just think they make some pretty good cases at some very competitive price points. These can all be bought on Amazon.com. Like I said, this Affinity style case here is currently going for $9.95 on Amazon. This is the Poetic Carbon Shield Slim Fit, which is going for $7.95 on Amazon. And lastly, this is the Poetic Revolution, which is going for $14.95. So this is a much more rugged style case. So let's go ahead and first take a look. And one thing to note is that if you notice the packaging, usually when I get these off of Amazon, they come in unmarked clear plastic bags. So good to see Poetic stepping up their packaging. You can see here Poetic looks like they're based right up the road in San Francisco, which is about 45 minutes from me. So it's cool to be working with a local company there. And you can see the back here, very nice packaging as well, explain to you a little bit of the benefits of each case. So I've already opened them up because I've been using them for over a week on my Galaxy S8 Plus each. So I just want to actually get some usage time with them before I gave you a review, especially so you can see how it holds up after at least a little bit of use here. So first, let's take a look at the Poetic Affinity, but real quick before I get into that, each of these cases comes with this little packet here and instructions for applying each specific case, as well as a nice 10% off purchase code. And also thank you for your purchase, as well as their contact information should you need any kind of help or support. And if you notice, each of these cases are backed with a nice 3-year warranty there. So for the price that you're getting a very nice package there. And let's get into the Affinity series case here. We'll move the packaging over to the side here. And here's the case itself. So it's just a nice clear polycarbonate hard plastic shell there with some reinforced TPU edges that you can see there. So really gives you some nice corner drop protection there. The corners are all kind of doubly reinforced with that TPU there. It also has this nice unique pattern on the back. So it's a see-through style case to show off the design of your phone, but it can also give you this nice unique little pattern on the back, which I think looks pretty cool once you apply it. You've got that Poetic branding on the bottom. You have cutouts on the bottom for your USB Type-C headphone jack, as well as speaker grill and primary microphone. You've got your secondary microphone cutout at the top. You have your Bixby button, as well as your volume rockers, as well as your power button there on the right hand side. If you notice, on each side it's got this kind of shiny black material, but if you notice, it's got those ridges there, and so that adds a lot of grip when you hold on to it. So it's a very hard feel in the hand because it is a hard plastic, and it's got these glossy sides, but it has those nice little ridges for some added grip. Let's go ahead and pop in the S8 Plus here. Actually, first let me go ahead and shine up the S8 Plus, because I do have the black one and it is a see-through case, so we want to maximize the effect there. So let's go ahead and pop it in here, one side at a time, and it just slides in perfectly just like that. And so you can see it's a nice case that doesn't add a lot of bulk at all, so you can barely see it on there, and it shows off the back of the case there. Let's go ahead and shine up the case itself. So there you go, and shows off that nice black. And I think if you had some other colors, it would show off this nice little web pattern here, but it still looks pretty cool black on black to me. And if you look very closely, because it is kind of this polycarbonate plastic, it can have some micro abrasions there, which is shown off more because of these bright LED lights. So if you're just looking at it normally, even through daylight, you won't really see them unless you really bring them up close and examine it. So if that's something that bothers you, that's just something to note there. It doesn't really bother me if I'm just glancing at it or looking at it. It looks fine. The other thing to note is that if you're using this a lot, putting it in your pocket, a little bit of dust can collect in there, like little micro dust or lint does get into the case. So again, if that bothers you, that's just another thing to note, but you're only going to see it if you really hold it up close. If I'm just holding it at a normal distance, I don't really notice it, or people just glancing at it won't notice. So just something to note there. And like I said, it does add this nice little grip to it because the Galaxy S8 is like a very slippery pebble. So if you want something that adds a little bit of protection, especially some drop protection and some corner drop protection, without adding a lot of bulk while still showing off your phone, I think the Poetic Affinity is a very nice choice. As you can see here, all the cutouts line up on the bottom. The power button works just fine on the back. I can use a fingerprint scanner to unlock, no problem. The volume buttons, all tactile and easy to press. None of these buttons are too hard to press. Bixby button there. For anyone that actually uses Bixby, there you go, it still functions. And microphone cutout on the top. So maybe last thing to note here is it does give you that lay on the table design, so a little bit of ridge all around the edges. Some cases don't give you that side ridge because they want to show off and give more access to the edge, but the Affinity actually has a lip all the way around it. And so if you lay it on the table, you're going to be fine. You won't scratch up your screen if you're not using a screen protector, because a lot of screen protectors are tough to fit onto these curved edges, so I'm not going with one, and if you're not either, it's still got that lay on the table design. Lastly, let's go ahead and bring in our wireless charger, see if we get wireless charging, and it should be going. There it is. So wireless charging, not a problem here on the Poetic Affinity. So next we'll bring in the Poetic Carbon Shield Slim Fit case here. And as you can see, this is the packaging that it comes in. It's a little bit smaller, but it's got that nice little seal so you don't have to rip it open. It's a resealable bag there, so that's very nice. There you go. But this is a nice little slim TPU style case. It's got that nice little carbon fiber design on the back with your Poetic logo. And so like I said, I've been using this for a week and it's held up pretty well. If you can see a little bit there, it gets a little bit of, there's a little bit of smudge and a little bit of dirt that can come off there. But just something to note, if you're using it a bunch, you're going to see some of these things appear from time to time, but you can definitely wipe them or wash them off, no problem. So it can get a little bit of a worn look, but it's not too hard to clean it up and shine it up like new. You've got this nice little web pattern in a matte type of feel on each side to offset that carbon fiber. You've got a little bit of Poetic branding on the bottom as well. All your cutouts on the bottom all look to be in order there, as well as your power button and your Bixby button and volume rockers. If you notice, all the corners have this kind of cutout there. I'm not sure if that really adds to any kind of drop protection or if it's just for design, but it's there. And on each of the sides, it's this soft touch matte, but it also, just like the Affinity series, it has these ridges for some extra grip on both sides there. And on the inside, there's their Poetic, if you can see very closely, it's kind of like their Poetic logo for their web pattern for shock absorption. So let's go ahead and put in our S8 Plus. And as you can see, it definitely is a minimal style case. It adds virtually no bulk to the phone, which I really like. I like minimal style cases. You can see the less ridge protection on this than the Affinity series. So it does come up a little bit off the sides, but not as much as the Affinity, but you definitely have the bottom and the top ridges for your lay on the table design there. You've got all the cutouts on the bottom that definitely align. You've got your volume as well as your Bixby and power button, so I can hit the power button, no problem. Fingerprint scanner, doesn't seem to be too much of a problem there. I can press the volume buttons, all very tactile, easy to press. Bixby button, all in order. And all your cutout for your camera and your flash and your fingerprint, all perfectly fine there. So if you want a minimal style case with a little bit of design and flair on the back there, you like that carbon fiber and matte. It's got a nice softer grip here than the Poetic Affinity because the sides are, instead of that glossy hard polycarbonate, it's more of this matte TPU style. So it's a nice softer feel, still adds the same amount of grip, a little bit slimmer case than the Affinity. And of course it's not going to show off the back, but you do get this nice little textured design there on the back to show off. So if you want a minimal style case that's going to add maybe a little bit of drop protection, I'd say it's going to have less drop protection than the Affinity, but you just want something very minimalistic to cover up your phone and you want a nice soft TPU style feel, this is going to be the case for you. And lastly, let's take a look at the Poetic Revolution case. This is the most durable case of them all. Again, similar kind of style packaging that it comes in, you can look at it there. But this is definitely going to be the most rugged, the thickest and bulkiest case that they have. So if you want something with more protection, the Revolution could be for you. It's a very hard polycarbonate back with some TPU built in here. So as you can see, you've got your Poetic logo there as well as some Poetic branding on the bottom. You've got kind of like these rubber grommets that give it that rugged style look, as well as some of these corner designs. So really going for that rugged design and look here. Hard plastic polycarbonate. It's going to have not too hard of a feel on the sides because it does have more of a TPU style side, but it does not have those ridges like you saw in the other two cases, but it does have a little bit of grip design there. And this is a two-part case, so it's not a case that you can just slide your phone in. You are going to have to take off the inside lining. So this is the kind of inside liner. We'll bring in the Galaxy S8 and you just slip that on top there. So that's going to add some, I'm guessing is for shock absorption, kind of a frame there. And then you go ahead and you pop that whole thing back into the overall case there, making sure you line it all up on the bottom and kind of seal off the edges there, because you can kind of see the edges are a little wavy there. So you just want to make sure that you push them into the frame as much as possible. And at least from my experience, I cannot quite get all the waves out in all the corners. So for the most part, on the sides, I can kind of work them in. But the top and the bottom, I tend to have a harder time, and you can kind of see it's still a little bit wavy at the top and doesn't kind of fully push into the frame. So Poetic, if you're watching this, let me know if I'm doing this wrong. But this is kind of the best that I could get it to. And you don't really notice it if you're just looking at it from a normal distance, but if you're looking at it up close, and you are the type of person that pays a lot of attention to detail, this could bother you, so just something to note. But there you go, you can see it's a much bulkier style case. You can see the inner frame. Like I said, I'm guessing that's more for shock absorption. But I never thought I really liked this case because I like more minimal style cases, but really in using it, it actually doesn't add a ton of bulk, definitely more noticeable bulk than the other two cases, but I actually ended up liking it because you can kind of see it adds a little bit of design to it. So you can see the edges are kind of cut out in slanted directions there. So it adds a nice little pattern design to the front of your S8 Plus, gives it a little bit of a different look there. Here's what it looks like from the back. You've got all your camera flash and fingerprint cutouts in order there. And I should be able to use the fingerprint scanner, no problem. There you go. And buttons, no problem to use. A little bit harder to press than the other two cases, but that's just because it's a thicker style case. Bixby button and power button. And I can say the power button is probably the hardest one to push out of all of them. Like you saw there, it took me a couple of tries. So, but it's still not too much of a problem. It's just a little bit harder to push just because, again, it's a thicker style case. And really quickly, you can see all the cutouts are in order. And if you notice, they have covered ports for your headphone jack. And I noticed these are quite difficult to kind of peel back. And I suspect over time it'll get a little bit easier, but as you can see, I'm still struggling here. And there you go. So you can see how deeply recessed that is in there, as well as same for your USB Type-C. And again, I'm going to struggle. And there you go with the Type-C port. So definitely recessed in there. And like I said, I get the feeling that it'll be a little bit easier to loosen up over time, but just something to note that those are covered. And while your S8 is water resistant, again, it's not waterproof, it's just water resistant. This can add a little bit of extra protection should you dunk this into the water. And you can see the buttons are ridged there, cut out for the microphone aligns at the top. So everything seems to be in order. It does offer the most protection for your Galaxy S8 without adding a ton of bulk. You can see that the camera's recessed, but it's not too deep in there. So it does not make the phone too unwieldy for me. So if you want something with more max protection without getting super bulky like an OtterBox case or something like that, this could be the case for you. So there you go, a few cases from Poetic, the Affinity series case, the Karbon Shield Slim Fit, as well as the Poetic Revolution for max protection. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, and if you're paying attention, there was an unopened case here, and I'm going to be doing a giveaway. So Poetic was kind enough to send me 2 of these Affinity style cases, and I felt I didn't need to open them both for this review. This is going to be the clear style case, so instead of having these black lines, it's all going to be clear. But I felt I should just keep this in the package and give it to you since they were kind enough to send 2. But if you don't mind a used case, let me know in the comment section, and maybe I'll give these 2 away since they pretty much look like new, and we can get 3 winners instead of just 1. I'm going to keep this Affinity style case because it's got some abrasions on it already, and I don't really want to give that away. So if you don't mind used cases, let me know in the comments. Maybe we can get 3 winners instead of 1, but I'm definitely going to give away at least this unopened Affinity series case. And so to be eligible to enter and win the giveaway, you don't really have to subscribe to my channel, although it would be appreciated if you like my content. But really just to win, all you have to do is just drop a comment down below saying, number 1, what is your favorite feature of your Galaxy S8 Plus? And number 2, why you want a Poetic style case. So again, to enter the contest, drop a comment down below with number 1, what is your favorite feature of your Galaxy S8 Plus? And number 2, why you want to win a Poetic Affinity case. So that's the cases from Poetic. If you have any questions or comments about these cases, let me know. Otherwise, as always, folks, thanks for watching.